Hi everybody, this is Dana here, and I am finally sharing my thoughts on E3 2017, and there were definitely some bombshells dropped. There's a lot of things to be excited about as a gamer in general. While I will be primarily focusing on Nintendo games myself, I definitely give credit where credit is due, and there definitely is stuff from other consoles and other developers that I will also be talking about, though my main focus here is probably going to be Nintendo games. But with all that to say, I just hope you enjoy this my thoughts on E3. I'm mainly just going to be talking about the games that stood out to me the most and the games that I personally am most excited about. So don't expect this to be like a wholly comprehensive E3 thing, just sort of what I'm looking forward to. Anyway, enjoy! So, Ubisoft announced the next installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Assassin's Creed Origins, which I presume is the earliest game in the series chronologically so far. What I think is really cool about this game is that it's set in ancient Egypt, which is a setting that I think is really cool. And I have played a number of the Assassin's Creed games. I've liked a few of them quite a bit. Of course, some of them have not been as good as others, but some of them I've really enjoyed. This one, I think, looks like it'll be a fun one, and I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out when it comes out. I just think the whole, idea of being able to slide down pyramids, parkour style, in, ancient Egypt is cool. Just, definitely have a lot of cool settings to go with, which I'm very excited about. And, of course, hopefully the combat will be a lot of fun, as it has been in the past games, for the most part. And that's really all I want to say. I mean, I enjoy the Assassin's Creed games. I've definitely played a fair amount of them, and obviously I've liked some, others I've been more lukewarm about, but this one I have high hopes for, and that's all I really got to say for that. Now, the next game that I'm really, really excited about, because I am a humongous Lord of the Rings fan, is Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Now, I don't actually own an Xbox One or PS4 yet, although I definitely plan to get most likely a PS4 in the future, and this is definitely one of those games that I think is gonna help me warrant that purchase. Obviously, I really love the idea that it's sort of an open world game set in Middle-earth, but that it has its own story and its own original characters in the game, while also incorporating other characters that we know and love from the Tolkien Middle-earth universe. I played a little bit of Shadow of Mordor and had a lot of fun with it, but like I said, I don't own a PS4 or anything like that yet. But this game looks really, really fun. Just really captures the feel of Middle-earth, but it also definitely has its own flavor, and it just has some really epic moments. The action scenes that I've seen in this game, being able to ride one of those things that the Nazguls ride on, having these stats, being able to, sort of actually fight against Sauron. I just think the game looks really cool, and I'm really excited to play this game when it comes out. When I finally have a console to play it, that is. But I'm excited for it. Alright, now for the big stuff for me. Now, this is where I really get into Nintendo stuff. Now, for me, the most exciting announcement of E3, even though, ironically, it literally had no screenshots or trailers, simply a logo, what I am most looking forward to is none other than Metroid Prime 4. That is right, Metroid Prime 4 is a thing, and it is coming to Nintendo Switch. I don't know when, I don't know if it's coming next year or the year after, but it's coming, and I could not be happier. Second only to the Legend of Zelda series, the Metroid is probably my second favorite game series of all time. Hands down, all three of the Metroid Prime games are some of my all-time favorite video games ever. The first game especially is just a masterpiece. It is just, as far as 3D first-person adventure games are concerned, I think it's as close to perfect as it gets, and it's my favorite Metroid game of all time. And like I said, I'm just so stoked that this is a thing. I don't really know what to go off of. I know that Retro Studios is not working on it, which, yeah, is a little bit worrisome, but at the same time, I think it's totally cool to let another developer have a crack at the series. Yoshio Sakamoto is still involved, and obviously he says there's a new team, and honestly, I think it's important for franchises this long to sort of have a fresh take, have sort of some, some new blood involved. In the Retro Studios, I think is more or less moved on. A lot of the staff involved in the original Prime trilogy have actually left and are doing other things. And so, a lot of that, that's just what happens. And honestly, Retro Studios is also making another game. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4, I just don't know what else to say. I am really excited for this, even though it's a logo, and I can understand if you're don't follow Metroid as much, you might not see what the big deal is, but for us Metroid fans, it really is something very special, and we rarely get a Metroid game. It's been probably at least 10 years since the last real Metroid game, and we're finally getting a Metroid Prime 4. And not just a Metroid Prime 4, but we're getting a brand spanking new Metroid game, well, sort of brand spanking new Metroid game this September in just a few months. And this is a remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus. It is called Metroid Samus Returns. Now, this is a remake of Metroid 2, similar to how Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance was a remake of the very first Metroid. And I've watched a couple of videos of this. I watched the trailer, I watched a little bit of the Treehouse, and I think the game looks great. I'm excited, just the fact that we're getting a real new Metroid game. Sure, it's a remake, but I was sort of thinking they don't even need to reinvent the wheel. I was thinking I would have been satisfied with even a remake of something like Super Metroid. And we're getting a remake of Metroid 2, which is fantastic. I'm definitely going to get this game. I'm going to try to pre-order it if I can. And I can't wait to play it. I love sort of the new melee attacks Samus has. It looks like they've really done a good job of utilizing the 3DS's capabilities, to really make the gameplay experience. It looks really smooth, and it looks like it just will feel right. It looks like the people involved understand Metroid, and I think that is a good sign for this game. Now, Nintendo's biggest game of the show, whether or not it's the game I'm most looking forward to or not, was unquestionably Super Mario Odyssey. And let me tell you, when I saw that trailer of Mario, on the T-Rex, my first thought was, what? But the more I think about it, it's pretty awesome, and it really looks like they're taking a page from Breath of the Wild, which is great. It looks like a much more open-world, open-ended Mario adventure. Definitely like Super Mario 64, but evolved. And, well, it looks like it's not going to be like Yooka-Laylee, where Yooka-Laylee sort of tried to pay maybe a little too much homage to the past. It looks like this game is paying just enough homage while also moving the genre forward, and hopefully this will help reinvigorate not just the Mario series, but 3D platformers. Of course, Mario games always sell. Anything that has the Mario game on it, it's hard for a Mario game to do bad. I enjoyed 3D World, but I'm just glad to have a really new, ambitious, big Mario game. This is the Mario game I wanted on the Wii U, honestly. And I'm really excited for Super Mario Odyssey. Now, Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii is my favorite Mario game of all time, so I'm curious to see how this game lives up to that. Now, like I said, it possibly could change that for me. I never thought Breath of the Wild would beat out Ocarina of Time as my favorite Zelda, but it did. Maybe the same will be true of Galaxy 2, being beaten out by Odyssey. Nevertheless, I think Odyssey looks like it'll be a fantastic game, regardless of the other Mario games. I love, the copy abilities Mario has, how he's able to control things, and just, you can just play around and experiment with stuff, which I think is just amazingly cool. I think that the game looks like it has a great variety of worlds and environments. There's this sort of Mexican-themed town, then there's this New Donk City, which is like New York City. And it's also cool that it's harkening back to even Mario's original arcade days in Donkey Kong with Pauline, which was his original girlfriend before Peach, as the mayor. And I also gotta say, Bowser just looks awesome. Like, even the humanoid characters don't bother me as much as they did. Like, I'm still not a huge fan of their designs, but they've definitely, like, they don't bother me. Like, they definitely won't ruin the game for me. Like, the graphics look absolutely beautiful. Like, it looks like it's really pushing the Switch, like, to its limits. And I think that, I don't know what to say. I'm excited for Mario Odyssey, and it's been a long time since I could say I've really been excited for a Mario game, and I'm so glad to just have that feeling again. Just like, Nintendo, you guys are rocking it. Now I want to talk just a little bit about the Breath of the Wild DLC, which the game is already out, but I think the DLC is worth talking about. Now we know we're getting a hard mode this summer, known as, I think it's like the Master Mode, something like that. And then we've got the Champion's Ballad, which is the DLC coming out, I think, this winter. And I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. From the little bit I've read, it seems like it's going to touch on sort of the lore of the champions that piloted the Divine Beasts, which I thought was a really cool inclusion. Like, I loved the champions characters. I thought they were really cool, and I just loved their personalities, and I just love to see more of that. Like, I'm excited to just sort of explore more of sort of the lore behind Breath of the Wild, and of course get more to do in the game as well, because like there's so much content to the game already. It's like there's gonna be even more. I'm definitely excited for the hard mode, and I'm definitely gonna purchase the DLC once this actually comes out. I've sort of been waiting. I've been waiting on purchasing the actual DLC, mainly because the initial DLC didn't really add that much beyond a few like t-shirts and gear stuff that you could wear in the game that didn't really do much for the gameplay. But this is the real DLC, and I think it's also cool that like Breath of the Wild is such like a big game that you really don't need the DLC, but this definitely is sort of an added bonus, kind of like Smash Brothers. It's kind of like Smash Brothers for Wii U, I feel, just a little extra something. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I know Nintendo, overall, their show didn't have so much, but what they did have was definitely quite something. And of course, like I said, I think that all around, it was a really, really solid E3. I enjoyed seeing what the other developers and companies were doing, and I'm just excited to experience or at least learn about all of these games. And yeah, stay in touch, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.